I miss going outside, and I do miss doing the things that I do outside, such as taking pictures using my camera. I actually like posting them at Instagram or Facebook, or just take pictures because I like to. But we can't actually do that now since we are in quarantine and we are confined within our house and our rooms most of the times, doing schoolwork, schoolwork, and more schoolworks every day. But let's try to take our photo studio, well, outside, inside our rooms. We actually can see many aesthetic scenes when we are outside, such as buildings, city lights, candid photos. But when we are inside, there's not much that we can take except for portraits and objects at home. But let's try to create a photo studio or a light box studio inside our rooms in the convenience of our houses, only with DIY or do-it-yourself materials such as cartolina, bunch of cartolinas, your phones, some lights, and syempre, your creativity. So let's start and let us try to do this activity together. Now, before we start taking pictures inside our room or your houses, let's try to understand how we will set this up with your common household items, okay? So first thing that you need are lights. With this video setup, I am using 3 kinds of lights. First is my study lamp, second is a ring light, and third is a mood lamp. And well, those are the basic things that you need. But if you don't have those kind of lights, okay, you can use a lamp, a basic lamp that you have at home. So if you have lamp, that might work, okay? Kahit isang ilaw lang. But for now, we will be creating a 3-point studio setup. So we'll be using 3 light source in this activity. Now, what is a 3-point light setup? 3-point. Well, from the name itself, it's just basically 3 light sources in a photography. What do we mean by that? Let's imagine that this circle is our subject, okay? This frame is our background, and this is our photo studio or our room, okay? Now, with 3-point setup, you will be using 3 kinds of light sources. The first and most significant light source that you will be needing is what we call the key light. Okay, let's put it here. Now, the key light is actually the most important light source that you will be needing. Okay, it's the one nearest to your subject, and it illuminates the subject most of the time ng pinakamalakas, okay? So that will be your key light. So you can survive taking pictures with only your key light. So we call that 1-point setup or 1 light setup. So if you have 1 lamp with you, we can move on with the activity. But if you want to improve your shots, okay, in creating your shots or something, let's add another light, okay? We will call this light fill light, okay? This light is further away from your subject. Notice that the angle of the key light is much direct to our subject, and yung fill light natin, fill, is oblique to our subject. We will expound that concept later on. But the third light is not that big, but it actually creates a different feel to your shots. This is our third light, and this light is called backlight. Now, backlight basically is placed at the back or at the top of your subject. So it illuminates the background and highlights. It highlights your subject from the back. Okay? So this setup is called the 3-point setup. Now this is an example of a 3-point setup. This is our fill light. The ring light will act as our key light rather. It is the strongest and the most, well, the nearest rather, light source to our subject. On the right we have our key light, which fills in the secondary light dito, di ba? It fills in, hence the name, fill light, the shadow part of our subject. So it's oblique from the key light. Now, fill light has another purpose. Aside from filling in shadows, it is also considered to be an effect light. Okay, so for example, I will put this into neutral first. Let's try to put it with another color. Notice that as I change the color of the light, the mood of the, well, subject changes. Okay, but when I change the color of my fill light, for example, I change it to red, the mood of the whole subject changes. Okay, now the third light is back there. That is my backlight or my headlight. Okay, now it illuminates the background and at the same time gives highlight to the outline of my subject. Now another tip that you can use in photography is this. Take note how the shadow changes when I move the subject further to the background and away from the background. Notice that when your subject is nearer to your background, it creates a much outlined shadow, but when your subject is away from your background, it creates or it diminishes the shadow around it. Now I ask my brother to volunteer. Hi Kabi. For him to be my model in this light setup. Now this is how the picture will look like if only the key light is present in the shoot. So I'll be turning on the other lights. This is how it will look like if it's only the key light ang gagamitin natin. So there's the key light. Let's try to take a shot. Ngiti ka, Jay. Smile. Okay, now I'll be adding in my fill light. Okay, this is how it looks like. Tingin ka dito. Smile. Now let's try na fill light lang. Patay mo yun sa gilid. Turn it off. Ikot. Now this is how it looks like when it's only the fill light. Let's take a shot. Why not? Let's try to make it closer. Now this is how it looks like when I have my backlight on. Here's my backlight. Turn it on. Forward. Forward ka. Tayo ka man. Yan. Okay. Now, How does it look like kaya if I will be using 3 lights? 1, 2, smile. Notice how the light is equal in this picture. Now let's play around this setup. Picture na kita. Pakilala ko muna dun sa video. Okay.
Meanwhile,
in making your own light box, you just need to connect your two cartolina with the same color, of course, using paper tape. Okay, I took the liberty to make a white one right here. So with this light box, I just DIY light box. I just taped it on the side of my bed frame, and to create a seamless white background, okay, that extends hanggang sa baba. So I just let it flow and put the subject here, okay, right here. So make sure that you avoid creases like this, okay, tsaka yung mga ganito. So if you don't have cartolina, you can use cloth or any material that flows like this as something that you can substitute for this one, okay, for this light box. So same setup, you have your backlight, okay, I'll adjust it right here. Backlight should be positioned right there, and your key light and your fill light. Okay, you can always adjust your lights depending on the need, on your needs. Okay, so we'll let us start the photo shoot in our light box. Now that we have our subject, notice that you cannot actually capture in the entire subject with your white background because we only made a small setup. So it's ideal if we will use a smaller subject. Let's say this controller, I think will do. Let's adjust the light. Okay, so you'll get the perfect white background. I have my headlight above, key light at the front, and fill light at the right. So let's see. Notice the small effect that the fill light do. Notice the highlights of the transparent bottle and the glass. It's the same color with the fill light. So yeah, it's somewhat blue, violet. So no matter how near my light source is and my key light is, it retains that fill, okay? It fills in the color, so it has the same effect on the background. I'll put away this. I'll put away my headlight and deviate my key light. Notice how it changes the effect. Okay, let's try. It's from far, and still we have that infinite-ish background that well, has creases. Kaya halata yung changes like this. Merong crease, but we can avoid that if we have a really long white paper. Yeah. You can also play with different colored cartulinas to achieve different kind of moods in your shoot. So right now I'll be using a set of yellow cartulina and some food, okay, as my subject. So let's try to do this. So I'll be using the same setup, my fill light, key light, and my backlight is right there. It's sticked right there. So let's try to do this. You can try to manipulate the ISO settings or use the pro mode in taking your pictures. Well, the relationship between the things that you will see inside the pro mode is a story for another day, but you can use that for your advantage in taking pictures. So that's your DIY light box setup and photo shoot setup. So with just 3 kinds of lights, or maybe one can work also, you can create your own photo shoot setup. It doesn't only work with objects, but you can also upscale it when you want to do portrait at your own room or your own house. But remember that photography is the art of controlling light. So make sure that you have lights so your pictures will look great. Okay? I hope you had fun with the activity today. We were able to create a DIY photo shoot setup in our home, in the convenience of our rooms and your houses as well. I hope you did learn something today, and please do like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions regarding these activities. Goodbye!